Overhead cable awareness at Russell Road, Toddington. The safe use of mechanical plant in the vicinity of electricity overhead lines. Every year in the UK on average, 2 people are killed, and many more are injured when mechanical plant and machinery comes into contact or close proximity to overhead electricity lines. This booklet has been produced for anyone who uses mobile plant, such as HIABs, MEWPs, tipper lorries and trailers, grab lorries, concrete conveyors and excavators, for short-duration work, and provides general guidance on how to avoid becoming part of these statistics. Before starting work. Overhead lines have the advantage that they can easily be seen, so before you set up your vehicle or plant, always stop and look up. If you are working at night or in conditions of poor visibility, you should use spotlights or a torch to carefully check that there are no overhead lines within your vehicle's reach. Always assume that overhead lines are live, unless informed otherwise in writing by your local electricity company. If you are in any doubt about whether the lines in question are power or telephone, this is a very common mistake. Always assume that they are power lines and are live. It is not normally practical for electricity companies to shroud high-voltage conductors, and even when low-voltage conductors are shrouded, the shrouding is not designed to protect against contact by mechanical plant. Again, always assume the lines are live. Exclusion zones. Overhead power lines are not normally insulated, and so any contact can result in serious or fatal injuries. Electricity at high voltages can also jump gaps with no warning whatsoever, so it is also dangerous to let your plant approach too close to a line. The distance that electricity can jump depends on the voltage of the line. The higher the voltage, the further you must stay away from the line and any other equipment that may be fitted to the pole or pylon. This distance is called the exclusion zone. Examples of this are shown in TM plan on the next slide. You must not allow any part of your plant to enter the exclusion zone. The minimum exclusion zone distance is shown on TM plan on the next slide as 6 m. Please note that these are absolute minimum distances that should under no circumstances be infringed. If you do, it could prove fatal. As well as staying away from the lines or equipment, you should also stay at least 600 mm away from any part of poles, pylons, and stay wires. TM procedure for accessing area under overhead cables. Operatives to be briefed on TM plan for access under power lines and TBT relating to this activity, along with all safe systems of works. Site manager to ensure that HERA's barrier fencing has been erected 6 meters min either side of the cable to create safe working zones, and goalposts are in place. Signage to be in place, including warning overhead cable signs. Banksman to ensure that arms lorry beds are down and remains down whilst in transit, passing under cables. Plant to be advised not to stop whilst underneath the cables, as this is just a transit route and not a working zone. Any plant identified with the capacity to make contact with the cable will be escorted through via banksman. Emergency procedures. If contact is made with an overhead line, you must immediately clear the area and suspend all work within 50 meters of the damage, because the line could still be live or become live again. The operator of a machine that is in contact with an overhead line should take the following steps. If the machine is still operable, lower any raised parts that are controlled from the driving position and/or drive the vehicle clear of the line, as long as neither of these actions risk breaking the line or dragging it to the ground. If the machine is not operable or cannot be driven clear of the line, stay in the cab. Contact your site manager immediately by radio or mobile phone, or as soon as possible by any other method, and ask them to inform the electricity company. Instruct everyone outside the vehicle not to approach it. Do not exit the cab until given confirmation by electricity company personnel that it is safe to do so. If the machine is inoperable or cannot be driven free, and there is risk of fire or other immediate hazard, jump clear of the vehicle, avoiding simultaneous contact with any part of the machine and the ground. Try to land with your feet as close together as possible. Where possible, continue to move away from the vehicle, using bunny hops with your feet together until at least 15 meters from the vehicle. Instruct other people in the vicinity not to approach the vehicle. Do not return to the vehicle until given confirmation by electricity company personnel that it is safe to do so. Whatever the circumstances, please contact your local electricity company immediately and tell them what has happened. Please be ready to provide them with a contact telephone number and an accurate location or set of directions. This will help them in getting staff to site quickly to minimize any danger and to reduce any disruption to your work. Please report any damage or contact, no matter how minor they may seem to you at the time. Whilst the damage may not cause a serious problem at the time of contact, it could fail later, causing danger to electricity company staff and members of the public, disruption to supplies, and, if the damage is traced back to you, a larger repair bill. For the safe use of mechanical plant in the vicinity of electricity, overhead lines, always follow these simple rules. They could save your life. Treat all overhead lines as live and dangerous. Any contact may be fatal or cause very serious injuries. Electricity can jump gaps. Before you set up or use plant near to lines, stop and look up. Take special care and use lights in the dark or poor light conditions. If there are lines in the vicinity of your work, stay well away. Set up your plant with care to reduce the chance of contact. More detailed general information on this subject is available in the following publications from the Health and Safety Executive, HSE. GS6, Avoidance of Danger from Overhead Lines. HSG47, Avoiding Danger from Underground Services.